got the cornfield calm, Midwest tone, but he's spitting facts like a dog with a bone. Lanky frame, fire-haired, eyes on the case, breaking down the game in the darkest place. Sports scores to murder boards, Hoosier logic cuts like swords. From Friday lights to chalked out lines, this redhead's brain rewrites the lines inside the Hoosier mind, where the stories twist and stats unwind. He's a legend in flannel, mic in hand, digging deep where few can stand. From touchdowns to crime scenes raw, he's got the truth in every draw. Yeah, step in if you dare to find what's brewing inside the Hoosier mind. He'll talk Pacers, Colts, or Colts on trial. Hoosier humor with a devilish smile. He's that redhead sleuth with a box of clues. Takes your headline, breaks the news. With every stat and every scream, he's painting portraits in your stream. Don't blink, he'll tie it tight. From game night wins to murder flight. Inside the Hoosier mind, where the facts hit hard and the lines are blind. He's a ginger ninja, sleuth and slick, cracking cases play by play quick. From courtrooms to the hardwood floor, he digs for more than just the score. Tune in and don't rewind, you're deep now inside the Hoosier mind.
All right, what's up, all? Welcome into Inside the Hoosier Mind, brought to you by Military Broadcast Radio, helping give veterans a voice. Here with the Shy Kid on a dark fall night as we have officially transitioned from spooky season now into, I don't know, some people call this Christmas season. I consider that a walking red flag, but that's just me because November 1st is not Christmas. I'm just saying.
Keep my mama's name out your mouth, Tony.
No, she put the Christmas tree up.
She got the spot cleared out for it. She didn't put it up yet though, but she's working on it.
Okay, that's fair. Like I could get like the closer you get to Thanksgiving with it, the more I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah,
but,
I walked in the house the other day and I was like, usually we have like a table in the corner with a lamp on it, and I was like, where the fuck's the lamp? And she was like, it's Christmas, and I was like, oh man.
All right. Like, no, it's not Christmas, not yet. But we are here to talk a little bit of college football, and then we are going to do a 4-part episode series on the quarterback rooms currently in the NFL as it stands right now. And Mike and I are going to grade them to see what we think, and then we're going to compare them at the very end of the season because obviously things are going to change and whatnot, and we want to see how they end up turning out overall. But in the meantime, though, we need to talk about some of the college football head coaching openings that are out there. And the reason why I bring that up is because Mike is still kind of new into college football. He's a fan, he getting into it and whatnot. But overall, though, Mike is kind of a neutral opinion as far as where some of these head coaching jobs, rank, what he thinks as far as some of the best positions go. And I am currently I'm making a real quick list. It's not going to be the prettiest, but it's going to look a little better. And it's going to give you an idea of what places are looking for a coach currently. And obviously there's some hot commodity names out there as far as who's going to fill what position. Lane Kiffin is probably the biggest fish out there as it stands currently for teams wanting a good, solid head coach. Obviously, he was the head coach of Tennessee there for a little bit. And I didn't know this, Mike. He actually went straight into being a head coach. Like, he's never been, like, just a coordinator. Yeah. As far as I know, like, his head coaching, he just went, like, straight into it, which is, like, nuts to me.
Fuck it.
I mean, good on him, because I'm like, that's, like, really impressive. But I'm also like, that's insane.
I think there's only, like, a few guys you can really like get away with that with, and I think like a big one is like you kind of just got to be like a Hall of Fame player. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
can't like if Tom Brady walked in one day, obviously he can't now. He's part owner of the Raiders, but like if Tom Brady was like, "Yeah, I'll be the head coach of the Patriots," like yeah, they're gonna take it. You know what I mean? But like to
Yeah.
just kind of just not to say he wasn't, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? You know, like it just kind of just skipped a bunch of steps there, brother, man. But hey, good on you.
Right. Right. All right. So this is the current job openings for college football as it stands right now. And I'll make sure that I got everybody. Florida, Auburn, LSU, Penn State, Arkansas, UCLA, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, Stanford, and Oregon State. Okay. So these are all the Power 4 coach opening spots as it stands right now currently. So out of these 10, if you had to rank them, who do you think you would put first?
I mean, it kind of matters on what type of guy you are. You know what I mean? If you want something safe and you kind of want to build a resume, build a culture without expectations, I definitely think Stanford's your route. Just because I don't think there's a lot of expectations with Stanford. I think it kind of just is what it is. UCLA, kind of that same boat where it's like, no disrespect to those fan bases and those fans of those teams, but like you kind of understand a natty isn't really a conversation for the most part. You know, OSU is also one of those teams where it's like, you know what I mean? We'll see what happens. Arkansas, shout out to our guy Porter, but you know, I definitely do think that's a little bit more of a serious role. For me, man, though, if you're a winner and you want to win, I think LSU is in perfect position to still be one of the top recruiting schools. This is one of the best colleges in the entire nation, more so than just a football school, just baseball, football, basketball. They do it all. And then academically, they're pretty incredible as well. So yeah, and, you know, you talk about like Angel Reese and their student athletes and their, you know, I think Angel had like a 4.0 GPA or something, if I'm not mistaken. Like they do take the student athlete role very seriously. Not that other schools don't, but like you see a lot of intelligent individuals come out of LSU. I think LSU definitely would be the right fit. And I think because you look at history's past of Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, you know, the household names that they're bringing in, you know, it definitely does make it appeasing if you're a player to want to go there. And then obviously a big part of it's the NIL, but you really have all the room in the world to just kind of build on a culture that's already there. You don't have to create a culture in Death Valley, I'd say. I think you kind of just walk into it and you have the right mentality and you're going to win games. So that's really where I'm at with that. I know you're a Tigers fan yourself. So whatever you think, buddy, I would roll with. But I would, if me personally, Mike Hughes on the mic, you told me, Mike, where you going, I'd pick Florida or I'd pick LSU.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. If you were in this position and you could pick any one of these schools, which one would you go to?
Yeah, well, I would want to go to Florida, but I've been to Florida multiple times, and I fucking hate the weather in Florida, brother. I can't do it. You're not telling me we're not doing no 2-a-days and 95 degrees and humidity. It's not happening.
That's that true Midwesterner in you. You're like, nah, give me the cold.
Where's the snow?
Yeah, I'll be honest. When I looked at the list, and it's kind of a general consensus amongst a lot of the lists online, and obviously most people kind of bicker back and forth. The top three is definitely LSU, Florida, and Penn State. I would almost keep it probably in that specific order. I do think LSU is probably the best opening job as it sits right now. Like you said, they have a 10 of NIL. They're always about investing as much as they can in the football program. Obviously, they're not super worried about all of the money because they're willing to throw whatever they got to get in the position to potentially, you know, compete for national titles, pay for players to be able to come in and whatnot. So, and the biggest thing with LSU is you have to find somebody that is going to accept, like you said, the culture is already there. Like you have to accept Louisiana for what it is, for the people in Louisiana, because this is the pride of that entire state is LSU. And you have to be willing to accept that, adapt to that. And once you do, the fans of LSU will pretty much embrace you just about no matter what you do. So you do have some leeway, but you got to work with them as it comes about. I think Florida is still a good position. Florida is another one, has a lot of big money. Obviously, it's still a pretty big national ranking brand. And honestly, both of these teams, they have a ton of NFL players that are in the league right now. Like I think between them, Alabama and Georgia, probably even Ohio State thrown there, is like the top 5 schools for like the most picks in the NFL as it sits right now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go to the NFL, one of those 2 schools is the place to go.
Yeah.
Penn State, and it's going to sound funny when I say this, because you could honestly make an argument for Florida and LSU. It's even tougher because of all of the talent and how everything is more spread out. Penn State has the issue of being in the Big Ten. You still have the heavy hitter of Ohio State there that you've only been able to beat once recently.
Yeah.
That's been a boogeyman for you. Michigan is always there. They've only beaten them 3 times recently. And then now you have the addition of Oregon, who's another powerhouse that you haven't beaten since them joining the Big Ten. You're 0-2 against them. So I think Penn State is probably the weaker of the top 3.
Yeah.
You could probably even make an argument that Auburn would be put over them. But much to your point, though, if you're a head coach that's wanting to get started, I don't know if you can see my mouse or highlighted, I would say these 5 is where you kind of build and maybe even 6 with Oklahoma State.
Sure.
These 5 up here, it's kind of where you build your foundation. Like, okay, what can you do with these 5 programs? What can you, like you said, don't have to compete for a natty. Are you at least competitive within your conference?
Right. This is like, to me, it's like, this is the job before the job. You know what I mean? Like,
Correct.
This is where you build that before you get an opportunity to coach at a LSU. And to your point, you remember like that meme going around of like, there's 3 dragons and 2 are super tough and 1 is like kind of dumb.
Kind of derpy.
That's like Penn State to me. Like, honestly, I wouldn't have Penn State in my top 3. I would put Auburn at that 3 spot just because like I'm a huge Cam Newton fan. I've been a huge Cam Newton fan my whole life. And to be able to see them actually get input into position when they really did take the game and create a culture that was seriously brought up to just create student athletes and really just, put that student part first. You know what I mean? And I think that's very important when you have those conversations is, you can have all the talent in the world, but if these guys can't work together and actually, be men amongst boys, then you're going to have a serious problem. So I definitely do think like to your point, like LSU is number 1, clear cut. And then the Midwestern in me is not touching Florida. I would not go to Florida. It's not happening. I'll visit Florida, but honestly, like I was there over the summer and it's like, once you get to like day 5, you're kind of over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just not, it's not cracked up to what it's supposed to be, I think.
It's not it. It's not it.
No, it's not it. No, I want to kind of keep a PG on here, but like, fuck Florida. I'm not going to Florida. Like, LSU, I could do LSU. I don't think that like Florida's like even the rain, like it'll rain for like 10 minutes and stop, and then it's raining again. Like it's like the weather is just insane, and then the people in Florida. I don't know. I just always see memes about people in Florida.
I don't know, but Louisiana is not that much different because you got gators in Florida, you got gators down in the bayou, and
not a big gator guy either. Yeah, not a fan of the swamp puppies, brother. I'll take my transportation crackheads on the bus and train to Chicago over a gator any day. I think.
That's fair. Probably able to wrangle them about the same. All honesty, you just keep the mouth shut, and then you're set.
And crackheads be slippery, man. You gotta be careful. You can't keep your eye off.
Gators are too. You gotta be. They'll do that little death roll on you. The next thing you know, you're done, man.
You look down at your phone. This guy's like 20 feet away. By the time you look up, he's in your face, and you're like, oh man, it's over.
So quick little side note. I had a lady like that when I took a trip to Los Angeles, and a guy that had just started working with us. He's a very like social butterfly, and he tries to always see the best in people, which I can appreciate. But there's also part of me, like you said, I'm like, man, a crackhead is a crackhead. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm not gonna be mean to him, but I ain't gonna be your best buddy neither. So like,
for sure.
We come out of this giant bookstore, and there's this lady chilling there, and she's trying to talk to people as they're walking out, and people are ignoring her. Well, then you see all these like girls and like people in their phones, like in a little circle.
Yeah.
And she just comes up, she's like, ah. She's scaring the crap out of him. And so this dude decides, I'm going to go talk to her. He's like, hey, mama, how you doing? She starts cussing this man up one side, down the other. She starts just ripping him a new one. He comes back. I'm like, so how'd that conversation go? He's like, oh, she just wants somebody to talk to. Like, you lying. I know you lying.
You'll talk to them all.
I know you lying.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a very approachable person, but I don't go out of my way. You know what I mean? I won't go out of my way if I don't have to. So that's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. But let's jump into kind of the meat and potatoes of the show, because Mike actually brought this up and I'm super excited about it. Mike brought up the idea that we do a 4-part episode on the quarterback rooms in the NFL right now, because probably one of the most interesting things, it's something that we heard talked about pretty much all off season, believe it or not, with a crazy team in Cleveland. And when we look at some of the games and how some of these teams are affected by their quarterbacks, and one of them was brought up earlier that I kind of want your thoughts on, with Mac Jones as compared to Brock Purdy, because that's an interesting one. Mike had the idea, why don't we grade the current quarterback rooms as we're officially at the halfway point of the season, and at the end of the season we can see, all right, did that grade stay? Did they get better as far as like overall play and production, or did they get potentially worse because of injury, trade, whatever the case may be? So figured we would start with the NFC, because Mike and I are both fans of da Bears. Shout out for a big win, even though Joe Flacco decided I'm 41 using a walker, but I'm going to, drop 4 tutties and like 300 plus yards for just whatever reason.
It was awesome.
But buddy, I'll let you kick it off. What division would you want to start with as far as giving a grade to?
I think we could rock out with the NFC North. I want to get the bias out the way and then kind of just have fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, I think anticipating or waiting for the Bears the entire episode is just going to make me mad. So I think we should just get it out of the way.
So for the Bears, we've got Caleb Williams, Tyson Bagent, and Case Keenum. Are your 3 quarterbacks for the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A. I'm going to give it an A because I think it's everything you want it to be. Now, obviously, the production is definitely a different conversation, but Tyson's your fan favorite. Tyson's your guy that I think is going to really get a crowd going. It was really cool to see him actually throw a pass to Caleb Williams the other day. Caleb caught a touchdown as a receiver.
He did from DJ Moore.
Which was pretty cool. This is the most I've seen DJ Moore all year. It's a whole different podcast. We can talk about the falling of DJ Moore. I don't know what's going on. But, I think it's really cool to kind of see a guy like Tyson Bagent. He came from a D2 university, undrafted. This is a guy whose dad is a professional arm wrestler. Like, he's a tough kid, man. He's tough as fucking nails. So, like, it's really cool to see a guy like that who has that type of drive and that type of empathy for others as well, to really just see him succeed. Casey Keenum's exactly what I've been waiting for the Chicago Bears, because with Justin Fields, you threw in Andy Dalton, you threw in Nick Foles. Those are solid veterans, but like, it just wasn't enough, I feel like, because they were more viewed as competition than they were actual veterans to help teach a guy like Justin Fields. Those guys are still competing for a spot, which I don't think is a major plus. And then Caleb Williams is your number 1 overall pick. He's the guy you want to flourish. I don't think Caleb has wowed me to the point to where I feel like this is my quarterback for the next 10 years. But time and time again, Caleb Williams makes the plays he needs to make in the crunch time. And we saw that the other day. Obviously, Colson Loveland played a huge contribution to that win. But, I think for Caleb to just be able to stay in the game, man, I understand. Like, hey, yeah, we had our backup RB, rookie RB. I always forget how to pronounce his name. Over 170.
Kid out of record. Oh, no, I'm not even.
Okay, I thought you knew. I was like, all right, go for it. But yeah, he's solid, and he had over 170 rushing yards, almost 200 yards total. No touchdowns at all, but his fantasy numbers were crazy. But for Caleb to still go 20 for 34, and then throw 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a receiving touchdown, like, that's a pretty solid day. Alongside with Ben Johnson, I know that was long-winded. I'm not going to be as long-winded for the rest of them, but like, to really break it down, I'm really proud of this quarterback room. Now, the quarterback play we can dissect and really break down. I don't think Caleb's been terrible. I think Caleb has been better, and I'm seeing him grow. So I'm not going to knock him for that. And to add Casey Keenum, I think that's way better than having 2 undrafted rookies in his class like he had last year with Austin Reed and Tyson Bagent.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I would give them an A. Yeah. And I give them an A, like you said. They have that veteran quarterback now that you don't have to worry about necessarily being a threat to trying to start, or even, like stirring up controversy, or, they have this guy that's had success in the past, like Andy Dalton. Nick Foles obviously led the Eagles to a Super Bowl when Carson Wentz got hurt. So you kind of always have that stigma and always that thing in the back of your mind. With Case Keenum coming in, he's been a career backup. He has had to be a starter before. He's filled in well for different teams. you don't have to worry about that. Like you said, Tyson Bagent, he's filled in well. He's done actually pretty good at whenever he has had to fill in. And then obviously Caleb has a lot of the promise, a lot of the prospects there overall. So
Yeah.
I would definitely give Chicago an A.
Yeah.
If I had to pick for Detroit, I think I would also probably give them an A. I mean, Jared Goff is definitely solid. Like you can see the progression and the growth from him and you and I talked about it yesterday, from when Jared Goff first was on the Rams with Jeff Fisher as his head coach and he looked awful. Everybody thought, okay, this kid's a bust, to Sean McVay comes in and completely turns him around. And now he's like a totally different player. He's been solid. I've seen Kyle Allen in the preseason, and then I've seen him on other teams. Not great. So at the current moment, I'm going to give him an A purely because Jared Goff is just carrying the team right now.
Yeah.
But if Jared Goff gets hurt, the Lions are screwed. Just absolutely screwed.
I'm going to give him a B. I'm going to give him a B because they only have 2 quarterbacks. And they dropped my boy Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. Shout out to the Volunteers, GBO. But no, man, I mean, Kyle Allen is dog water. So for them to kind of just bank it all on Goff, honestly, I think is really brave. I'm going to give them an A- just because, like, you know who Jared Goff is. But, like, at the end of the day, man, you are losing a quarterback away from just being absolutely terrible for the remainder of the season. So I'll give it. I'm honestly, bro, I think I'm just gonna give it a B+. I think that's kind of where I'm at. And I know that's like Lions fans will say what they want to say, but like, dude, there's 3 quarterbacks on every roster, sometimes 4 with an emergency QB. You have 2, and like, there's no real reason behind that. It's just kind of it is what it is, because you didn't even cut Hendon Hooker. He was on the Panthers up until this morning. So like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's just like. It's kind of ballsy. I'd say it's kind of ballsy.
Fair enough.
B for ballsy.
Then what would you give the Packers? Because you got Jordan Love, who obviously I know. Hey, you're usually the one having to defend Jordan Love because of me talking smack. So but I will say, for at least for Malik Willis, because we haven't seen him much this year. Last year when he filled in, though, he looked like the guy. Like he ran the offense incredibly well. So I mean, if it was me. And I may get a lot of hate if there's any Bears fans watching, I would probably still give Green Bay an A. Like A is as high as I'm ever going to go. Because I can't, like you said, if you give Lions a B, which I can definitely see and I agree with, I got to give Green Bay an A just because, like we said, Kyle Allen's booty cheeks. We've seen him be booty cheeks everywhere he's gone.
Sure.
Malik Willis, while albeit he was not great at Tennessee, he has flourished in Green Bay's system and actually kept them alive to even go into the playoffs last year without Jordan Love. So I'm like, they're better, unfortunately, than what I would want them to be.
Yeah, I'll give him an A. I would give him an A. I think Jordan Love has been more than serviceable for the Packers. Obviously, I think he's proven that he's that guy going forward. And then Malik Willis. I mean, Malik Willis, say what you want about his tenure in Tennessee and wherever else he's been, but like I think there were times and there were moments last year where they were winning games because of Malik Willis. You know what I mean? And not that like he had that huge impact, but he was keeping them from losing games. And that's all I can really ask from a backup quarterback. Like, look, man, you don't have to be the reason we win, but you just got to make sure we don't lose. You know what I mean? And Malik Willis was really able to do that. When they said that Jordan Love was out last year, I forget what the injury was. The first go around earlier in the season, I feel like it had something to do with like lower body injury, but
I think it was a hamstring maybe, or something.
It was something. It was something to do with his leg, and I kind of thought they were just gonna lose out in those games without him, but they were really able to just go
stick
full.
with it.
Yeah, they were going full force, man. I mean, I love that they were full sending it. They were ready to go. So I'm gonna give the Packers an A.
Okay, now I'll let you pick. What would you give the Vikings? Because I know obviously your boy, your favorite quarterback, JJ McCarthy. Carson Wentz is done for the season. He's out. And then I don't know who the heck Max Brosmer is.
Whoever, whatever.
Yeah, if I'm understanding the numbers and the letters before or after technically their name, I'm assuming he was a free agent after, or free agent this year, or like undrafted free agent, something like that this year. I think I'll give Minnesota. I'm going to give them a C, and it's not because like JJ McCarthy's
Yeah.
necessarily playing bad. But he's not doing anything to necessarily wow me either. Like
Yeah.
literally what we kind of saw in college is exactly what we're seeing in the NFL so far. Like
Yeah.
he's not bad. He's not turning the ball over. He has, I think, 2 or 3 picks, but he's also got, I think, 4 or 5 touchdowns. So I mean, he's like a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. So it's not bad. But I think he's only thrown a max of like 200 plus yards or something like that. It's nothing. It's nothing super crazy. So I'm gonna give them a C, just because I haven't seen enough out of McCarthy. He was also hurt for a minute there, which is why Carson Wentz filled in. And I thought Carson Wentz filled in great for him. And then, like I said, I don't know who Max Brosmer is at all, so I'm gonna give him a C.
Carson was great. I feel like Carson filled in and he really just got Jettas the ball. He understood the assignment, which I feel like JJ has really lacked. JJ is who he is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? In Michigan, they win a national championship despite of JJ McCarthy because they had such a strong run game and they just had an incredible defense. And they were also cheating, but like, whatever, that's not the point. But like, that's whatever, you know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, man, for me, JJ McCarthy just is what he is. And that's a system quarterback who kind of just gets by, you know what I mean? And I really do mean that. Like, he's not your Mac Jones of the San Francisco 49ers. Like, you can't just plug him in and say, yeah, this guy's going to start throwing 4 to 5 touchdowns a game. Now, granted, in his first career NFL game, he beat my Chicago Bears and looked incredible, and everybody was giving me shit for that. But it's like, at the end of the day, man, like, if it looks like a horse and it sounds like a horse, it's a horse. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. If it looks like shit and it smells like shit, more times than not, you're not gonna nibble on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what it is at the end of the day. So like, JJ just is not that guy to me, man. And like, it sounds really horrible to talk about a kid like that when he's only a year into the league, truly, because of last season he tore his meniscus and you don't see him for the rest of the year. But like, I felt that way when they drafted him. I was super excited when they drafted him because I was actually afraid of them getting a guy like Michael Penix. I really was cautious of a guy like that because I do believe he would be able to get a guy like Jordan Addison or TJ Hawkinson or Justin Jefferson the ball a lot more. I think this is perfect for what you and I as Bears fans would want to anticipate is like, look, man, we can't beat Jettas, but Jettas is going to beat himself every time he walks out with JJ McCarthy on the field. You know what I mean? And that's just like, I don't have to worry about it from that perspective. Like, it's just one of those things. So I'm going to give it a fat F, I think, in my opinion.
Okay. I can definitely see it.
I would have gave it like a C minus, a D, but Carson's gone. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's just, if Carson was there, I'd say a solid C because you have a young prospect and then a veteran quarterback who's won a championship. But without Carson, it's like, who do you really have to turn to if JJ doesn't work out?
Yeah. So let's do the South and then the East, and then I feel like we should save the West for last because that one's a little bit more interesting to me anyway. Sure. For the South, and I might blow through this one kind of quickly.
Yeah, we can fly.
I say for the South, I'm going to give them a C. Like, Penix really hasn't done much because I mean he's had just about a year worth of starting between half of last year, half of this year to start. Hasn't really done anything. Well, I mean, I did watch a little bit of the Falcons game, and I watched him try to throw a screen pass, and he legitimately just threw it at the running back's feet. Like, there's nobody in front of either one of them, and I'm like,
and Kirk Cousins is still there, or no?
Yeah, he's still there.
So and I'm like, a generous C tone, I think, is.
And that's just respect because of what Kirk Cousins has been able to do, and kind of the same thing. Like, the prospect of Penix is there.
Yeah, I think honestly, like, not to cut you off, but like, I think you have to bump your grade a little down. I think it has to be a D because I mean, Kirk is making $200 million guaranteed. No.
Yeah,
and you just I haven't seen Kirk Cousins on TV, not even on the sideline holding a clipboard.
He did fill in. He did fill in for him against the Dolphins, I think.
Okay, how'd that go?
Yeah. They still took a fat L, but he filled in for him.
Fuck it. He was in there praising Jesus and doing what he does. You know what I mean? I gotta love it. Can't hate him for it.
Come on, man. He's in ATL. He perked Thuggins. Come on, man.
He's doing his thing. You know what I mean? Kirk.
But then we got Carolina. You got Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, Mike White. This one I'm gonna give it F. Like, I know Bryce had the year, like the end of the year hot streak last year.
Sure.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, they've gotten some fairly quality wins. They beat Green Bay. Like that.
Sure.
That's a hell of an impressive thing to do.
Sure.
But again, you bench the kid. I don't think there's a whole lot of belief in him. I
Benched
haven't
him
really been a
twice,
big
by the way. Benched him
yeah.
twice. So that's
Like, and Andy Dalton is your guy. Dude's old. Dude's been on like 20 teams. He's old. And then Mike White. Oh no, this isn't even the same Mike White. I thought this was like the Mike White of
it's
like
not the
the
one.
Jets.
It's not the one from the Jets.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Who's the other Mike White? I'm a white Mike, and I feel like I know all the white Mikes, so I don't know who the hell is this kid.
Right? But
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
gonna give that a fat F as well.
the Saints, I'm gonna give it F.
As
Spencer Rattler,
Get
he has
outta
like
here.
one career win. Tyler
Yeah.
Shuck, not enough to know about him yet, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
And
F.
then the Buccaneers, I'm gonna give it A.
I'm gonna give it an A too.
Bake Show's doing good. You got Teddy Bridgewater, solid backup. Both could fill in. I give them an A.
I'm kind of confused by that though, because I don't understand what Teddy's doing right now, because I thought Teddy was coaching at a school, and then I know he got suspended from coaching at the school, so he came back to the NFL.
As far as I know.
Okay.
Right?
Teddy's just like me, man. When I start working somewhere, I feel like
that's just work. Mike White of the Jets, that is the one. That's on the Panthers right now. I thought, because it says SF25, I thought there was something to do with like being drafted or coming in 25. Yeah. Like, no, apparently not.
Yeah, no, Teddy Bridgewater, second string. That's crazy. But
anyway, so let's move on to the East. So we got Dak Prescott, Joe Milton. A. I'm gonna give him a B.
Oh, bogus. Why?
So here's why. Okay. Dak can be solid. Dak does some like Tony Romo-esque things of like, let me throw a pick when I shouldn't. Let me like try to run it, and it's not going to work. And then don't get me wrong, I like Joe Milton. Man, if you want a 60-yard bomb, Joe Milton's throwing a 60-yard bomb.
Sure.
You want a 10-yard short pass, Joe Milton's throwing a 60-yard bomb. Like, bro, like calm the velocity down, man.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I'm gonna be believe it or not, the Giants, I'm gonna give it A. I say that because of the fact that Jackson Dart has kept them in games, and the fact that when he did have Malik Neighbors and Cam Scatterboo, like, he's done great. And honestly, they've been more competitive with him at quarterback. You do have the experience with Russell Wilson, even though he's washed. And then if anything, you have entertainment and another veteran presence that seems to truly be supportive of Dart. I don't know how supportive Russ is, but at least Winston is supportive of him. So I'm going to give them an A, because I feel like that can be a very positive locker room.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. I think, honestly, for me, I think Jackson Dart is going to be your rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. And it reminds me so much of Justin Fields on the Chicago Bears, but better. And what I mean by that is, like, in Justin's rookie year, he had Nick Foles, Andy Dalton. Those are two guys. One's a Super Bowl MVP, and the other one is Andy Dalton, who's a franchise quarterback for the Bengals. And it's like, to have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, one's a franchise guy who once, was running Tampa, and then obviously moved on. He's became a journeyman, really great personality, really great locker room guy. And the other's Russ, who, say what you want about Russ's back end of his career, but he's a Hall of Famer at the end of the day. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a franchise guy. So to be able to have those guys in the room with him, I don't see Russ being a distraction. I see, kind of from what we've seen thus far, is he's been pretty solid in his relationship with Jackson Dart. And then Jackson Dart, I mean, hell, man, I'm starting Jackson Dart over Baker Mayfield in fantasy now, even without guys like Scatterboo and guys like Malik Neighbors. So yeah, he's still been incredible, man. He's still throwing he threw 3 touchdowns and over 300 yards the other day. I don't know who he's doing that with, but he's doing it, man. I haven't watched a single Giants game for the most part. I can't sit here and lie, but I've been watching him and watching what he's been able to do, and it's been really impressive so far. So I'm gonna give that one an A. I spent a little bit too much time on that one, but I'm a big Jackson Dart Ole Miss fan, so.
That's okay. I like it. I didn't have a whole lot of high hopes, because I was like, I don't know what to expect, but he's proven me wrong, and I like watching him play. Like, he seems like a good dude. He seems entertaining. Like, and honestly, I feel like he handles New York's media really well. They're like, oh, well, how'd you feel in your performance? You did this. He's like, did we win? No. Okay, cool. Next question. Like, that's all you gotta say. All honesty,
it's the right mentality for it.
Then you got Philly. You got Hurts, McKee, Howell. I'm gonna give him a B, and I might get some hate for that, and there's probably a little bit of Philly bias. Nothing against Hurts. Hurts' biggest thing is he has men fill his ass into the end zone like that. That's the entirety of like his play. Like let's put it this way for statistical context before anybody comes after me. He's had 2 games where he's thrown over 300 yards since 2023. One last year, one this year, and the one this year was against Minnesota.
He did it in the Super Bowl though, no?
No.
He didn't have 300 yards in the Super Bowl?
Not that I know. This might have also just been regular season too.
Okay.
But yeah, like that to me, that like, yeah, cool. You can like do a quarterback sneak into the end zone. That's great.
Yeah.
But and then Tanner McKee, like he's filled in. He's all right. And then Sam Howell, he's been kind of a journeyman. He's gone pretty much everywhere. But I'm gonna give him a B.
I was wrong. He had 221 yards. My bad. My fault. 40 points. I would have 40 points. You assume, you know what I mean?
Right.
I was at that point where I thought that's where it was. Mike Hughes does not know ball. I apologize, but I'll give it a B minus. I think without Saquon, that offense is very flawed, and obviously, like you can say that about a lot of guys, but like Dak Prescott right now, I don't even know. Is it Javonte Williams is the running back for them, and he just lost them the game the other day? Did you see that video of like all the Bucs players saying, or was it Arizona? They were like, yo, Javonte sucks. And I was like, ooh, that's like right after the fumble. It's tough.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a B minus, man. Jalen is Jalen at the end of the day. I'm cool with like the scriptures. I'm cool with like praising God and really just understanding your culture and your faith. And I think that's really cool. But like at the end of the day, brother, just throw the damn ball. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want right now. And like AJ Brown not getting traded at the deadline is very interesting to see how he's going to play the rest of the season. Because I kind of do feel like they've been feeding him lately to kind of see if there were any calls being made. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. But like you said, with the tush push, I saw the tush push get ran like 4 straight times in a game this year. And I've seen it multiple times. And it's just like, it's not football, brother. It's not football. No. It's just grown men grabbing on each other. And like, is what it is. You know what I mean? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it as it pertains to like banning that. But I'm not going to say that's a good QB room.
No, because I mean, again, you pay Saquon all that money only for your quarterback to run it in like that. That's nuts to me.
If I'm Saquon, that pisses me off for sure.
Right? Because he could have won MVP last year. Because if you even take like half the touchdowns Jalen ran, like Saquon has over 20 touchdowns and 2K yards like that. Like AP won it when he did that. So like Saquon could have very easily won it. But anyway, then we got Washington, Jaden Daniels. He's going to be out for the rest of the year more than likely because that's a really bad elbow injury.
Yeah, that was tough.
And then you've got Marcus Mariota and Josh Johnson. I'm going to give them an A just because, I mean, you think about what Jaden did last year. He took him to the NFC chip. They were 1 game away from the Super Bowl as a rookie. Marcus Mariota has played well when he's had to fill in, so I haven't been too upset. And Josh Johnson, you talk about a man that's been almost on all 32 teams and has been around the league for like 28,000 years. Like they got experience. So I would give Washington an A.
I'm going to give it an A. I give it an A because like obviously Jaden can sling that thing when he needs to. Bears fans know that all too well. But you know, it is one of those things where I feel like if Jaden and when Jaden goes down, which he is, Marcus Mariota is a very similar play style to him. And I think that really complements the offensive identity because the offensive identity isn't going to change much when you have a mobile quarterback who can throw it on the run. And I definitely do think that's kind of the reason behind Marcus being there. It's definitely not just to be a veteran presence. So I like it a lot. I'll give it an A.
Yeah. And then we got the NFC West. Cardinals with Kyler Murray, Jacoby Brissett, Kendon Slovis. This one I feel like I'm kind of torn.
F.
Because I'm not gonna say F.
F. Fuck them. Fuck Kyler Murray too. He's terrible. He just lost his job today.
I'd probably say C because I mean Jacoby is a baller. Like he's been able to ball out fairly well, but yeah, Kyler. There's a lot of questions with Kyler, and he's like
Tony. And I'm not letting you do this.
No.
You're not selling me on Jacoby Brissett and Kyler Murray. I'm not doing it. I hear you. If we have to, I'll mute myself so you can get this clip so I can make a clip for you later. But no, because bro, you're playing Kyler Murray's playing fucking Call of Duty on a bye week instead of trying to get better. If I'm Marvin Harrison Sr., I'm having a heart attack right now. Period.
That's fair.
Like I'm pissed that my son is there. And like that's just one of the and mind you, Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't impressed me the way he did at OSU. And I kind of am happy the Bears have Rome Odunze over him at this point in time. But
Mhm.
it's just one of those things, man, where like the Kyler Murray experiment has lasted far too long. And for a
Yeah.
guy like Justin Fields to be on his third team in 3 years, again, everyone knows I'm the biggest Justin Fields fanboy, but like to see a guy like that or a guy like Daniel Jones get ran out of town and Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa, and we'll talk about Tua Tagovailoa in the next episode. Believe me, it's
That
Quinn
was a
Ewers, baby. Yes,
that was
but
that room was an F. That
yeah,
room was straight
there's
F.
not a letter for that, brother. There's not a letter for
No.
that. We're just gonna give him a number, 0. But yeah, I gotta give him an F, Tone. I think you gotta learn when to say when.
Mhm.
And the Cardinals just kind of refuse to do it. It's just me.
No, that's definitely fair. I mean, I get it. Then we got the Rams. I feel like the Rams have a pretty good quarterback room because you got Matt Stafford, who's been to, won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You got Jimmy G, been to. Technically, he has won 2 Super Bowls, be it riding Tom Brady's coattails, but he has won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But he has taken them to a Super Bowl. And then you got the mailman, Stetson Bennett, 2-time national champion at Georgia.
Sure. A lot of rings in that room.
Technically, what JJ McCarthy should have been, a 2023 4th round pick. I feel like the Rams have an A because, I mean, you got Stafford, who, even though he's old, he's been like, injury riddled and whatnot throughout his career.
Yeah.
Dude's solid. Like he sticks it out through the good and the bad. Like he can still sling it. Even Rodgers gave him his props as far as, you want to talk about a guy that just takes the ball, like slings it and whatnot, and slings it in like weird angles from weird directions. That's Matt Stafford. I would give the Rams an A.
I give him an A. I definitely do. I think Jimmy G is able to step in and kind of fill that role. Like I said, it's very similar systems, no matter who's at quarterback. And then Stetson Bennett, shout out to him. You know what I mean? Can't really say nothing else. The man that kicking down doors at 2 a.m. because he's drunk off his ass in Georgia. Like, you can't be mad at that, man. He might be 35 years old in a 27-year-old's body, but like he's doing it. So like it's really cool to kind of see him learn from guys who have the similar play style as him. Obviously he's ways away from a prime Matthew Stafford, but like I think he's a lot closer to a Jimmy G, so he could learn how to be a serviceable backup from Jimmy Garoppolo. So I definitely do think it's solid. And like you said, man, they won not a World Series. They won a Super Bowl just a couple of years ago. So I definitely think actually they won a Super Bowl a few years ago. We're getting old.
Yeah, I know it's hitting fast.
We just started doing like our shows together, man. Back when that happened, so it's kind of like, damn.
I know, crazy, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
So then the one I think is the most interesting because I was listening to this on the way home from work and then on the way home to taking my cat to the vet.
Sure.
You got San Francisco, who has Brock Purdy. You got Mac Jones, who at the current moment is 5-3 as the starter of the 49ers, or no, 5-2, sorry, as the starter of the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Adrian Martinez, who I remember watching him at Nebraska and then at Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, with the way Mac Jones has played, considering the fact of all the issues that the 49ers have had, I'm going to give them an A. Like,
yeah.
But here's the crazy part that I wanted to ask you, Mike.
Sure.
And supposedly it's been announced, and I don't know if it's primarily a money thing or what, and I'm about 99% sure it is. They said that even when Brock Purdy is ready to come back, it is still his job. Basically, Mac Jones has no chance to keep the starting job as the San Francisco 49ers quarterback, basically no matter what he does at this point.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, like you were a football player, so you tell me, like, is it always the right thing to go with the hot hand, or do you potentially mess stuff up and you go back to the guy you're paying like $55 million a year for to be your starting quarterback?
I think you kind of answered the question there. You know what I mean? When Brock is healthy, he gets him to a Super Bowl in his first year, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Irrelevant. He's been able to do it, man. He's been able to make them a playoff contender year in and year out. Went to a Super Bowl before. I mean, you look at Mac Jones, though, man. 1,832 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for the touchdown interception ratio, 61.4 QBR rating. I think for me, man, you look at a guy like Mac Jones, and I told you earlier, like why I love certain QB rooms is because the complementary play of each guy, it complements each other, and it complements not more so themselves, but the offense. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like when you have a guy like Mac Jones, who is so similar to a guy like Brock Purdy, kind of your system quarterback guy who kind of you can just plug in, and he's a field general. He's not going to wow you. He's not going to make the big throws. He doesn't have fast legs. He's not going to bulldoze
Mhm.
through guys. But like at the end of the day, man, like the guy gets the ball to his receivers and he gets the ball to playmakers. You know what I mean? And Christian McCaffrey's been a huge part to why they've had so much success. I was in the minority, I guess, is I don't know, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but like I think me, you, and only a couple other people I know were really against paying Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy making $55 million a year is criminal considering what he's going to offer for you.
Yeah.
You have an aging George Kittle, you trade away Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk just obliterated himself. He still isn't back. It's been what almost it's been over a full year since Brandon Ayuk's played. And it's just like one of those things for me where I think you really could have avoided playing a guy like Brock because when Christian McCaffrey's gone, a guy like Brock isn't going to look like Brock. You know what I mean? And like that's what I really mean by the system quarterback guys. Like if you're getting this out of Mac Jones, who's on his third team in 3 years, I mean, it kind of makes you question how good is Brock Purdy really? If Brock Purdy was on the Bengals, would he show
Mhm.
out the way he does? If he was on the Minnesota Vikings or the Dolphins or a team, or let's even throw in the Chicago Bears. If Brock Purdy was on the Bears, would they look better than they are today? I think that's really the question. You know what I mean? And I think it's weird because San Francisco understood that Trey Lance was going to be nothing more than what he was, which was an athlete, which is
Mhm.
kind of why I don't understand how they didn't notice that Brock Purdy is nothing more than just a game manager. And when you have a game manager, you can fill him in with a Baker Mayfield or a Mac Jones or somebody of that caliber. So to answer your question, um, which I have not answered at all, and I do apologize for that.
That's
Um,
okay.
as an athlete, man, who has been not myself, but like for them to go to a Super Bowl with Brock and to see him on the bench, understanding that like that's our guy and they've paid him to be that guy. If he was fully ready to go and you didn't bring him back, I think that sends a very weird message to the room. And it kind of makes everybody feel like, well, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's kind of like back in the day, Josh McCown would win you a few games, but Jay Cutler's coming back out there when he's ready. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like you kind of just have to, man. And Mac, I don't know his financial situation right now, contract wise. I
Mhm.
tried to look it up. I don't know how long of a deal he signed with them, but Mac will get paid somewhere.
Mhm.
And I am very proud of what Mac Jones has been able to do because our guy Frankie was giving him shit for years. Yeah, Mac Jones signed a 2-year deal. So this is your first year, man. You really proved it. I think it's gonna be really cool to see him in preseason next year.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, man. I mean, Mac Jones after by 2027, I think we'll get a hefty chunk of change. I think Mac Jones is in his Baker Mayfield.
Like
Well,
redemption tour?
yeah, like kind of like how he was in Carolina, where it's like, hey, man, you're
Mhm.
showing us something. You know what I mean? Like, let's continue to capitalize off of that. Now, you're not the guy, you know what I mean? But it's like you could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of where I'm at.
So here would be my other question to you though. That
Mhm.
like you said, I know 99% of it is the money, which
Yeah.
is completely fair. But you think about all the pieces that they lost from this past offseason, right? And then the fact that they're paying a bunch of guys who are older, who are more injury prone. Everybody kind of calls them the Avengers because when they're out there, they're damn near unbeatable,
When
right?
they're out there, brother.
But think about it, with all the injuries, Mac Jones is able to come in and go 5-2. Same type of roster that Brock Purdy had last year,
Uh-huh.
and then they go like 7-9 or something like that. Like they had a bad year last
Yep.
year,
Well,
and
here
he was the
here's
starter full time.
here's the key difference, because I love what you're saying and I would love to be right behind you, but the difference is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey had 2 Achilles injuries and both Achilles last year, and he missed a year. Like, the offense is Christian McCaffrey. I think he's like one of the best players in fantasy right now. He has been insanely productive for them. So like, it's kind of like that Saquon Barkley argument with the Philadelphia Eagles, where it's like, without Saquon, what does this team really look like? And the answer is they look like shit, because the quarterback room's not as good as everybody thinks it is without Saquon. And then same thing for here, without CMC, this team really has no go. They really have no drive. So like, I hear what you're saying. I believe you. You know, Ricky Parcell and is Ricky even still over there? Yeah, he is. He is, because I thought I know one of them, 2 guys that got shot are now on the same team. It's Brian Robinson that's now in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, they were gonna roll out to Many Men by 50 Cent on opening night, which was crazy.
I mean, they had to.
Hey, why not? But no, man, I definitely hear what you're saying, but I think like, you just look at the numbers. Like, I kind of do want to look it up just to like answer it for myself. McCaffrey's numbers this year are incredible. And I think when you really just look at what he's been able to do, what are we, like 8 games into the year? You're looking at a guy who has 596 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns, but like as a whole in 2025, he has been nuts, man, from a rushing perspective, from a receiving perspective. He's just been incredible. He's got 4 receiving touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, and then 4 rushing touchdowns, and he only has 1 fumble. So like, he has been the offense for them. And then receiving yards, you're looking at 626 receiving yards, 596 rushing yards. So he's already eclipsed over 1,000 total yards. And the guy, I mean, the guy as a receiver has been more effective than DJ Moore for the Bears. That's kind of just where I can leave it. And it's like, the guy is better than most receivers at the receiving position. So he is everything. So that's kind of where I wanted to leave that question, because it's like, CMC missing the entirety of the 2024 season definitely left a bad taste in their mouth. And I think they realized that quickly.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. It was just interesting, because it's like, like I said, I feel
devil's
like
advocate is there. Like,
oh yeah, because I feel like it's like, man, I don't know, like it's hard to argue. Like, he got a hot hand. Like I said, I mean, Brock Purdy got him off to 1-1. Technically, he went out in the latter half of that second game.
He was 500, brother. He was 500.
He was 500. He was 500. But yeah, I mean, Mac Jones comes in, like I said, he does more with less. And like you said, Brock is a system guy. Honestly, Mac is a system guy, because you think about it. Like, you think about what Mac looked like his rookie season with Josh McDaniels as the OC. It's like, oh my God, he's gonna come in, he's gonna pair it up. Like, and he was. I was like, damn it. But then Josh McDaniels left, and then Mac Jones became a bum.
Well, that's what it is, man. And I think that's the conversation, especially even with Brock Purdy. It's like, you are a system guy, but the unfortunate part of that is you are going to reflect the system. So when you have Kyle Shanahan, CMC, George Kittle, and them boys, he's going to look great. I think either of them are going to look great. And it would be really cool to see, like I always say, I keep saying his name. I don't know why I'm talking about him so much today. But like, you take Trey Lance, number 3 overall. What if they would have took a Justin Fields? How would that have looked? You know what I mean? Like, how would a Mac Jones?
I mean, you got to think, when it was first happening, and I know we hadn't really met yet, when that draft was about to happen, I'm like, to me, the 49ers were going to take Fields or Jones, because it's like, that to me fit Shanahan's system more. I was like, and I kept seeing like, oh, Trey Lance. I'm like, why are they going to take Lance? Like,
I never understood.
Jones and Fields just fit better.
Yeah, I don't even think he played his last season in college. It was the Trey Lance thing is one of those things where it's like the Mitch Trubisky pick at number 2, and it's just kind of like, it's you get these random little dudes who go to the combine and say, oh, that guy's got athleticism I've never seen, and it's like, no, you just gloss over the 6'3" white guy because you think he's a perfect mold to what your team's gonna be. You know what I mean? Not that Trey Lance is a white guy, but I think somebody somewhere in their scouting department was just like, no, he's generational, brother. And it's just like, no, he's not. But whatever.
He could be, but you can make that argument for anybody. Like, anybody
he could be. Well, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. But
exactly. And then, of course, last one for the NFC, we've got Sam Darnold, we got Drew Lock, and we got Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give him a C. Like, I can't. like they're not bad enough for D because I mean Darnold has played okay,
Yeah.
but they ain't B level. Like Darnold is probably the strongest character in the room just because I mean he had one hell of a year with Minnesota, but it's hard not to when you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, Kevin McConnell as like all those key pieces. It's hard for you to not be great unless you're JJ McCarthy. I'm just saying, unless you're JJ McCarthy, it's hard for you to not be great in that.
Well,
so there's that. Drew Lock. I mean,
horsecock lock, man. That's the guy.
I know this is his second stint with the Seahawks. I mean, he was with Denver. Heck, he upset somebody. I think he upset Philly as one of the quarterbacks. I think he was with the Seahawks. He upset Philly.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's something you can have some spark of.
Was that the Kenny Pickett Eagles though, or was that the Jalen Hurts Eagles? I don't remember.
I can't remember either. That might have been Hurts.
Might have been
Hurts.
Might have been.
But that might have also been when they were kind of in like that weird downward spiral after they finally lost a game and everything just went down the toilet from that point.
For sure.
And then you got Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe got better in college. I don't know what he looks like in the pros. So I'm kind of giving Jalen like a wash at the current moment. So I'm giving the Seahawks a C.
I'm gonna give him an A. I'm gonna give him an A because Geno looks terrible. So they make that trade to flip it over, or I don't even remember it was a trade or it was free agency. I think it was free agency. They flipped quarterback position. Geno has looked absolutely horrendous to the point to where they're trading away Jacoby Myers earlier today. 2,084 yards passing, 7th in the league from Sam Darnold in Seattle. And then you have 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 16-5 touchdown interception ratio, and a 77.9 QBR, which is crazy because if you look up Dak Prescott's numbers, Sam Darnold is better than him in every single which way. And to be able to say that past the Vikings era without Justin Jefferson, I mean, his number one quarterback is Cooper Kupp and Tyler Lockett. And Jackson Smith and Jigba has taken an insane leap this year. And I said his name last, not because he is number 3. It's because he is number 1, and we have to treat him as such. He is the X factor for them. He's had an amazing year too. It's been absolutely incredible to see as a year 2 or year 3 for JSN. But
year 2.
Okay, year 2. I think it's year 3 actually, because didn't he have Shane Waldron as his OC in his first year? And then the Bears fired Shane Waldron last year for the Bears. So I think it's year 3, to be honest. But regardless, doesn't matter. Sam's been great. And I have crucified Sam a million different ways on how terrible he is. But for him to have back-to-back good years and get paid and still play up to that point, I think is very cool. So I'm going to give him an A. And also it's Drew Lock, brother. How could you hate Drew Lock?
I know. I mean, again, it's I don't dislike it. Like I got nothing against him, but I'm also like, man, like I said, I try to look at it collectively. Like, what have you truly done in your past? And it's like Sam, like, all right, you can get a pass because you were on the Jets. Jets are a quarterback graveyard. Like your career goes there to die. R.I.P. JF1.
JF7.
Drew Lock, JF7 now. Drew Lock. It's literally 1 and 7.
Yeah,
crazy. I don't know if you saw real quick. They were talking about the whole Breece Hall thing, and apparently the Jets were asking like a 3rd round pick.
I would have taken it.
And I think Schefter or somebody reported they're like, yeah, Breece Hall is not going to be traded, and he just responded with this like kind of sad, defeated face. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's pissed. I'd be pissed. Honestly, though, if I like, not to get off topic, I don't want to get off topic at all. We could talk trade stuff another pod or another day, but like, a 3rd round pick for Breece Hall. If I was the Chicago Bears with DeAndre Swift down, I mean, I'm making the call. A 3rd round. If your 3rd round pick is Breece Hall, I think that's solid. Like, I really do. I really do.
Yeah, I say he's solid. Here's the thing that is just weird how the Jets have gone into like. They're just now going into kind of this full meltdown mode. And here's the other thing too. What are they really going to do with it? Like, because you've got 5 first round picks in the next 2 seasons. You got 5. The quarterback situation has to be addressed. No offense to Justin, but the quarterback situation has to be addressed.
For sure.
You have realistically 1 wide receiver in Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, and
Some
for how
people
long?
some people may include Lazard. I wouldn't personally.
Didn't know he was still there.
Yeah, he's still there. You've got Braylon Allen and Brees Hall, solid running back duo. That's great. But eventually one of them is going to want to leave. And who
Right.
knows what Braylon Allen will look like now that when he comes back from injury.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Tone. I don't want to. Again, we're rambling here. I know we got to cut it off soon, but like, how do you really feel about Braylon Allen? Because when Brees went down, I really feel like he didn't show me enough for you to be this confident about trading Brees Hall. You know what I mean? Like, I hear so many people talk about him, and like the card. I collect a lot of cards for people who don't know. The Braylon Allen card game is like there, and like people love Braylon Allen, and I just don't see it. I don't know if you do. He reminds me of like a Tariq Cohen.
He, at least college wise, he was great. I'm looking up his stats so far in the NFL.
And like, granted, I understand like it's a lot different when you're preparing as the number 2. So I'm not like trying to say like he can't be that guy, because I think like you need to have a full off season with the ones to really be that a number 1. But like we've seen, I mean, what's the guy's name? He went to Rutgers. He's on the Bears right now. 176 yards against the Bengals, rushing, and then like 40 yards receiving. Like, if you're him, you're him, and that's just what it is. And like, I just don't see it.
So here's Braylon Allen's stats from last year. Like you said, when he was filling in as running back 2, he had 92 carries for 334 yards. This was about 3.6 yards a carry and 2 tutties. He had 22 first downs, no fumbles. This year, in just 4 games, he had 18 carries for 76 yards, so 4.2, so it got better. Only 1 tutty and 4 first downs. And then receiving-wise, last year, he had 19 receptions on 27 targets, 148 receiving yards, so about 8 yards per reception and a touchdown. This year, before he got hurt, 2 receptions on 3 targets for 17 yards and no touchdowns. So, I mean, for being a running back 2, that ain't necessarily bad, considering the fact that your running back 1 is Brees Hall, so you're not going to get to fill in a whole lot. And like I said, when he was in college, he was great. Like, he had phenomenal statistics in college. I'm going to see real quick if I can find him. But I mean, I think to me the potential is there, and I think you also have to remember too, running backs are kind of a dime a dozen. Like, if you spend a 3rd round pick on them, that's great. And much to your point, if let's say even if it goes to crap and he's not as good as we think he is, like, that's still a 3rd round pick that you've got, and you can go get another guy. So to give you an idea, so his career at Wisconsin, he was 6 yards short of 3,500 rushing yards on almost 600 attempts. So he averaged about 6 yards a carry, 35 touchdowns. And then receiving wise, he had 275 receiving yards, no receiving touchdowns.
Right.
And career total from scrimmage, he had 3,769 scrimmage yards just in 3 years at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And he rushed for almost 1,200 yards every season, with the exception of his last year. He was 16 yards short of 1,000 yards that season.
Yeah. Like, my problem when we talk about a guy like Braylon Allen, and I kind of want to like really get the numbers in it, because I don't want to be wrong here, but like, you really look at the situation. Brees Hall comes back from a torn ACL, and he was drafted in 2024. So you're looking at a guy who, like, I just don't think has gotten the opportunity. 92 attempts in 2024 and 18 attempts in 2025. And that's even with like a shitty offense, bro. And like, that's kind of like the frustrating part for me, where it's like, you just haven't seen enough. And I think like there's conversations about you being a great athlete, you know, in certain schools, especially at Wisconsin. Like, you've seen Jonathan Taylor come through those doors, and guys who really excel, the Watt brothers and just everybody else. I think both Watt brothers.
Melvin Gordon. Yeah. All the Watt brothers went to Wisconsin.
All the Watt brothers went to Wisconsin, which sucks.
Melvin Gordon went.
So cool to be a Wisconsin fan. For like 5 seconds. But like, it's
pretty much.
it's definitely something where it's like, if you're that guy, you're that guy. Like we have seen guys take over. I mean, it's just what it is, especially at the running back position. You could see the tide turn very quickly. I mean, let's be completely honest here. Tyrone Tracy had an incredible 2024 season, in my opinion. And the fact that they drafted Scadaboo, I was like, I love Scadaboo, but like that's crazy because I think Tracy had a really great year. But when you're great, you're great, and that's why Scadaboo took over. And if he didn't go down with that ankle injury, you're looking at a guy who would have just taken Tracy's job. Tracy would have never saw the field again for real. So it's like, I don't know. To me, man, if you're one of those greats, you're going to be one of those greats. And that's just what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I will say, looking at Breece Hall's college career, because he also had a great career, but
yeah,
and this is going to sound mean. It might even sound like I'm nitpicking, and I promise I'm not trying to.
Sure.
So Braylon Allen played in the Big Ten, where Big Ten plays a little bit better defense, not all the time, but a little bit better. Breece had the advantage. He played in the Big 12 with Iowa State. Big 12 does not play defense like at all.
Yeah.
But his numbers were out of this world. So he had 897 rushing yards his freshman year with 9 tutties. 2020, he rushed for almost 1,621 touchdowns. And then 2021, he rushed for almost 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns. So total collegiate career of just short of 4,000 rushing yards and 50 touchdowns in just 3 seasons, on top of 6 receiving touchdowns to boot, and over 700 receiving yards to boot on top of that too. So I think Breece is definitely more well-rounded. But again, what does Braylon look like as the true starting guy, like you said, getting practice and reps with the ones, getting that chemistry. And two, I mean, maybe a lot of it is Breece. Breece is doing better with maybe the sub quality of linemen that New York has as compared to Braylon. Because one thing that used to come out of Wisconsin, running backs and offensive linemen used to come out of Wisconsin, tremendous, and defense. Like the Paul Christ era, big offensive line, control the line of scrimmage, run the damn ball, and smothering defenses, long gone. But used to back in the day, it was solid.
Yeah,
it was solid
for sure.
But yeah, so I think that's part one, at least of the QB rooms for the NFC. We got some good grades in there. We'll probably be back next week. We'll talk about the AFC.
Yeah.
And fun fact, buddy, because I just saw this from that NFL website. The AFC North, every starting quarterback wears 8 except for one. Joe Flacco. He wears 16. Everybody else wears 8.
What's Shador's number?
12.
What's the other kid's number?
Dylan Gabriel, 8.
Yeah, that was one. I was like, who's wearing 8 in Cleveland?
And then Lamar wears 8, and then Rodgers is wearing 8.
Yeah, he is. That's right. All right, but next week we'll be back. We're gonna be doing grading the punters in the AFC. So I'm really excited about. No, I'm playing. That'd be crazy.
Can we do? Can we? I shouldn't say this being a Bears fan. Can we go back and grade Caleb's text over texting his punter? You're not gonna be using it much, like brother.
It's been better this year. It's been better this year.
He's been better. He's just a year late.
Yeah,
he's just a year late.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't think anyone saw that one coming. I thought it was a fire text.
Oh, and like it's hilarious. Like okay, like coming a little fire is like that backfired, buddy. That did not age well.
No, it didn't. I think he punted over like 60 times or something. It's crazy.
He did. It was like buddy, like don't.
It's a crazy amount.
Like just pump the brakes, buddy. Pump the brakes. All right, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. If you liked it, please check out everything at Inside the Hoosier Mind on any social media that you have. You can also check out a lot of great military veteran and podcast hosts here on Military Broadcast Radio. You can also search mbradio.us for their website or scan the little QR code right above me for more. And if you like everything The Shy Kid, even though Mike is, I'm not going to say retired from social media, but he's taking a little social media break, breaky break. You can follow him at The Shy Kid on his social media. He's still talking about Bears and not as much baseball news since the World Series finally ended. The Dodgers, some of the dude, like, was it like 3 times that World Series went to like the 18th inning at like 5 o'clock in the morning, which is nuts, by the way. I don't even follow baseball. And they're like, the World Series game finally ended at like 3 a.m.
I will say though, it's why I think you would appreciate the game of baseball, man, because I feel like I'm around the clock 24/7. And it's like unlike the NFL, the Super Bowl ends and then free agency doesn't kick off for a couple months. Free
Yeah.
agency's here. The Cubs cut one of their top pitchers today to save money, and then free agency is going to start probably like within the next few weeks. So like I love the winter time because it's like everybody starts like you go into winter meetings and you're hearing all these things about who's going to sign where, and there's always that one jag off that fucking takes fucking 6 months to sign with a team. It's spring training, all the boys are in Arizona swinging, and this guy's still at home trying to get that extra dollar. It's fucking, it's a million. Yeah, it's basically Alex, but it's always somebody. It's Alex Bregman, it's Bryce Harper, it's this guy. It's always somebody. And sometimes it's guys like you don't even fucking expect it to be. Like, how the fuck did Shohei Ohtani sign a $700 million deal? How did Juan Soto sign a $700 million deal? And I'm over here waiting to find out when Kyle Tucker's going to sign, and it's probably like March. So like, I don't know, but like we'll see what happens, man. But Tone, I appreciate you having me on, bro.
At least you have the benefit, like baseball ends like right kind of in the middle of like football season. So you've got that to carry, and then you got basketball, and then by the time that ends, baseball season picked it. So that's actually that's kind of smart. You got like the full year.
Yeah. I'll watch like a quarter of a Hawks game here and there too. I kind of want to go. I like going to Hawks games. I don't go that often, but like if somebody hit me up right now and was like, "Hey Mike, you want to go to a Hawks game together?" I'd be like, "Yeah, fuck it. Why not? It's a good vibe." But like I can't watch hockey. I've noticed.
I've been to one. It was the Penguins versus the Kings. It was a blast. Like, it was a great time. Like, the Penguins ended up winning. It was like a 4-3 overtime victory. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I was at a triple overtime my freshman year of high school in 2015 of the Blackhawks, the year they won the Stanley Cup for the third time in 6 years or something. Third time in five or 6 years. 6, 7. But no, it was 6, 7. No, man, I was there, and I remember I had finals the next day, and my professor was like my teacher at the time was like really cool. He was a Hawks fan. I was sleeping during the test. He was like, B. And I was like, oh, cool. He was like, go back to sleep. You're good. Because we didn't get home till like 3 a.m. It was nuts.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome.
It was cool.
Yeah, buddy. I appreciate you being on, though. Always welcome on anytime. And again, man, we will hope everybody enjoyed. And Mike and I will hopefully see y'all next week. Everybody have a good night and peace.
Justice Jackson, they captured